So it's been a little while since I got the sub 20 time in all main quests, and I was able to do that using Game of the Year edition, which is interesting because no runs were done on Game of the Year edition before I came along and figured out how we can use Game of the Year edition to do even better than 1.0. So I'm making this tutorial and I want to cover pretty much all of the bases and serve as a guide for people getting into it and those who want to push the times as low as they can get. So some housekeeping things. First, you want to have Game of the Year edition without any mods. And you need to have the Tribunal and Blood Moon expansions disabled. So you do that by going into data files and unchecking Tribunal and Blood Moon if you didn't know that. So now that we're in the game, I'm going to go over some options. So difficulty -100. All these are pretty standard here. AI distance doesn't really matter for this run. I know it matters in one case for some other runs. Basically, Taria will fall faster if you have a little bit of AI distance, but it doesn't improve beyond only having a little bit. Basically, if you have it at near, Taria will take longer to land, but in this run we actually do a strategy where you rest to make him fall instantly. Anyway, so that doesn't really matter for this run. I would turn off autosave just because I think it takes a little bit of time, I guess, when you do have to rest. Always use best attack. I would keep on. Subtitles on. Subtitles can be very helpful because when you kill an enemy from far away, it's a way of confirming that you landed your attack on them, because they will always say something and there'll always be a subtitle. Crosshair on because it just helps to aim. Audio is really your preference. Controls are pretty important. So activate is usually on spacebar, but I change it to E. And likewise, jump is usually on E, but I change it to spacebar. Next weapon and previous weapon I like to have on my mouse wheel. There's a couple of cases where I use this, not really that much though. Pretty much only 2 cases ever in the whole run. But it's better than having it on the brackets. And next spell and previous spell are very important. I like to have it on V and C because my thumb can change spells while I'm moving. So we're going to use that quite a lot, so I recommend doing that. Everything else is default, so I just leave the quick menus how they are and just use them like that. I just have a standard keyboard. Quick save, quick load. Quick save is very important as well. I have it on default, but you're going to be quick saving a lot to do out of bounds. And I wouldn't mess with these unless you really have some kind of preference. Sensitivity you want to adjust so that you can turn pretty fast. Like you want to be able to do 180 spins really fast, but you don't want to be so fast that you can't control it. And video options, so resolution is actually very important. I'm going to go over some menu options, and you can only compare these setups if you're running this resolution. So if you're not running this resolution, you're on your own with the menu setups. Can still do the run just fine. It'll just be a little bit different with the menu setups, and I can't advise you on how you should do them for, say for example, this resolution or even lower. View distance I would keep pretty high, if not all the way, because it helps you to be able to see where you have to go next, and especially in those overworld or exterior parts of the run where you kind of need to take a straight as possible line to your next destination. Helps to have view distance. Gamma correction I don't think does anything, and I would just turn the shadows off. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new game and get right into these menu setups before we start the run. Okay, so we're at the Fighters Guild, and the first thing I want to go over is that you'll need to have your menu set up on this person right by our good friend Hasfat. So that training, the training button is lined up with spear. Just like that. So that is absolutely mandatory, in my opinion. Otherwise you would be losing time. Now I'm just gonna go to Aril's trade house really quickly. Okay, so I'm at Aril's, and this is how we're going to be able to set up the width of the dialogue menu. So right here, he will always have this dialogue, whether you talk to, I'm not sure if it's whether you talk to Fargoth or not, but in this run you won't talk to Fargoth. And if you're setting up your menus, don't talk to Fargoth and give him his ring, just in case this changes. So for the width, you'll notice this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, and the dialogue ends on popular scrolls, ? And it doesn't include any name here, so this is a good way of getting an absolute good width, like without naming your character name getting in the way. So for the bartering window, I have my menu set up like this. It doesn't particularly matter for your inventory. I just like to have them next to each other, with barter being kind of on the right, mine being on the left. So I have the number of items is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rows of items, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a little bit of one item. So 8 and a little bit extra of columns. And you want to have your bartering window with these 3 buttons, the bottom buttons, should be lined up with goodbye. So when you go to complete, or complete any transaction, you can kind of just drag across. You don't have to go up or down. It's a little bit faster, in my opinion, to do it like that. So that's the bartering window setup and the dialogue width. So we're gonna go up here, talk to this guy for the dialogue height. So notice I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, with the last one having a little bit of extra space. So in this way, the training is still lined up. I guess you can also test training with this person too. You don't even need to have any gold. So if it's on Longblade and your last option is someone in particular with a little bit of extra space, you'll have the basically same exact dialogue setup I'm running with. So now we've gotten taken care of all those setups, we can just get into the actual run.
Stand up. There you go. You were dreaming. What's your name? Well, not even last night's storm could wake you. I heard them say we've reached Morrowind.
So you're going to go ahead and create any name you want. I like to keep it consistent.
Quiet. Here comes the guard.
So timing starts when you gain movement here.
Come with me.
I'm not going to time the run though, because I'm just going through it slowly. So right here, you're going to press spacebar to start moving and start your timer. If start your timer with, well, you'll need another button, but you're going to strafe around like usual. Come up here and try to avoid the pop-up. If the pop-up appears, then you have to press spacebar. Gonna get to this guy and position your cursor above load quickly before he stops talking. Get out of the pause menu, click red guard, and OK.
Great. I'm sure you'll fit right in. Follow me up to the office and they'll finish your release.
Just try to strafe around him. I'm going to strafe over to the left a little bit as I am initiating dialogue with this person, and you can start dialogue from really far away for some reason. And at this point, I'm going to position my cursor a little bit to the left and a little bit down of load, so it'll be on this fill out forms yourself button. And here, the order I do is set magic, speed, willpower, and now my cursor is already landed on this first major skill, so I'm going to set that as athletics, the one below it as acrobatics, and double click the bottom two options here like this, double click and double click for mysticism and restoration, and that is our build.
Very good. The letter that preceded you mentioned
Bring up the menu, move your cursor over here,
what would that be?
because we want to select the steed. So you can scroll anywhere in that window.
Before I stamp these papers, make sure this information is correct.
Now you're going to move the cursor a little bit down and to the right after you just clicked OK.
Show your papers to the captain when you
Click
exit.
spacebar twice and then inspect these papers and drag your mouse up to the left to take them, and then space again.
Continue through to
And when
the
you
next
hear the
building
door
and
unlock, you can
Priscilla's
press
garden.
E on this door, and there's going to be 2 dialogue pop-ups here, little tutorials. So clear those out with space. Come over to this lockpick and pick that up again, and you have to press spacebar immediately afterwards. So once you get out here, you'll reach a certain point, like right around here, and another box will appear. So get rid of that as you move towards the barrel. For my looting windows, see, every loot window is, looting windows are their own setup. So, like, your inventory window is different than the looting window for yourself and for whatever you're looting. So I just have it around like this. So you're gonna loot the barrel. The best way to do this is, left click on the ring, right click gets it out, it adds it to your inventory and closes it at the same time. And then there's another 2 tutorials, so spacebar, and now at this point we want to basically all in one shot get Adrenaline Rush ready. So you do that by next spell or previous spell, it doesn't matter because you have nothing selected, and then ready magic and just start casting. So when you enter here, there's going to be another space bar, and you want to turn 90 degrees very fast, and double click Morrowind, which will pop up duties, and then goodbye. So another space bar, I think this is the last one, as soon as you leave the office. We're just going to turn this way towards Tario. So you're just going to strafe like around this rock and in between these 2 rocks. And you can see you can hardly see it, but there's a book, Tario's journal outline right there. So we're going to strafe in that direction. Get your Magicka cast ready. As soon as you get near where he lands, rest 1 hour, and he'll land immediately. And we're going to dispose of his corpse, or take all, whichever is faster for you. And now we want to set up for the first Icarian flight jump. So instead of going and opening up your menu and clicking this, you can just press previous spell once. If you had just used Adrenaline Rush, which you should have. And you want to line up with this rock. You want to be kind of in front of his journal and pointing at that rock in the distance next to this tree in the center. So go ahead and use it, and then hold diagonal and just jump and let go. So I'm going to use another scroll just to get it out of my inventory, so I only need 2 scrolls to use it and then 1 to land. I mean, 1 scroll to use, 1 scroll to land. So use it, and you should wind up at the Gorak Manor if you did it properly. Once you land, wait another 24 hours for Adrenaline Rush, and enter Gorak Manor. So we're just gonna strafe up here. Kind of want to shimmy along this guy. This guy's position can be a little random, so you might have to go around him. Go up here and just take all the armor. And go to the creeper, and at this point I just start spamming click, starting from the fur helm, and then stopping when I click on the ring. This is like an audio cue. Make that a max sale because he won't accept it otherwise, and then offer, and then goodbye. Don't hold forwards while you're exiting this place, otherwise you'll get stuck inside and you'll have to re-enter, which costs time. So once you get here, you can jump. Just jump out of there like that, and get to down here, Varric Germain. At Varric Germain, you're just going to buy this Amulet of Recall. So you'll notice that there's this item and these amulets here are always going to be here. Not always going to be here, but there's always going to be 2 amulets before it. And then the one we want is on the bottom. So just buy that and get out of here. Do a quick turn and press E on the door, or spacebar if you're using spacebar. So get to the Mages Guild, strafe all the way upstairs to the guild guide, and go to Balmora. Now at this point I turn right as much as necessary. You actually don't need to turn much to the right, but just turn right quickly and talk to the guild guide here. If you have my setup, spells, the next spell that is there is conveniently on what we need, which is Bound Spear and Bound Longbow. So that's all you need from her. And then for this guy, you need Water Walking and Levitate. And you're just going to strafe upstairs. Get your Magicka ready. Strafe to the person who lets you join the Mages Guild. So join the Mages Guild, which will allow you to take all of this stuff. And I'm going to previous spell 3 times to get to CV. And open dialogue with Galbadir and buy 2 divine interventions. I believe you only need 1, but you need 2. Yeah, you absolutely need 2. And that's all you need if you do my strats, my route. So click again to use your CV that you selected, and enter the temple. Now I'm going to go downstairs, do more strafing. Go to the right here. There's 2 NPCs, one on the right and one on the left. So from this person you need CV and Vitality. And then here you're going to do a lot of menuing. First you have to buy the spells though. Fortify and Mark. Fortify Attribute and Mark. So Fortify works by, as long as you have any Fortify anything, you can gain access to all of the attributes. So we're just going to choose this one because it's allows us to double click like that. So now we're going to make a bunch of spells. So the first one we're going to do is, it doesn't matter the order, but the first one I like to do is basically the main strength, speed, luck, personality, and health one. So it doesn't matter the order again. As long as these 100 points are first. So I do 1 strength, and at this point I'm just gonna do 2 speed, but I actually would normally do 3 speed. So 1 strength, 2 speed, 1 personality, and in this case we're gonna do 2 luck. So you could either do 3 speed and 1 luck, or 2 speed and 2 luck. And then Fortify Health, 100 points. And then to make it permanent now, you just go to Fortify Attribute and click the fastest one you can click to. In this case, it's generally going to be Agility. and just double click this to make it on target. You don't have to change anything here. And I'm gonna name this 3. So in this case, I had this annoying bug where it makes it symbols. So it's thinking I'm like holding shift. So to undo that, you're gonna have to hold shift, press the number again, and then backspace to get rid of that, and then it'll be fixed. So that is the first spell. Next spell is gonna be just willpower or intelligence. You have to do both of them, so it doesn't matter what order you do. So willpower, and again, I'm gonna make it permanent using the same method. I'm gonna call this one 1 though, because this is the first one we're gonna cast. Intelligence is gonna be 2 because this is gonna be the second one we cast. So the way this works is you're gonna buff your willpower, which allows you to increase your cast chance greatly, and then you'll need more intelligence to cast bigger spells. So now you're gonna buff your intelligence, and then with all that buffing, you can buff yourself with the really big buff spell. Yeah, so just 2 intelligence for this one. And then the last spell we're going to make is going to be the NPC speed buffing spell. So this one is going to be, this time, on target speed. So I select speed, make it on target, make these 100, and then make the area 50. I find that just the best way. Just drag across, drag, 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 drag. Drag, drag, and drag. And then on target again. And name that, I name it 4-5. That's just my preference. It helps with the key binding soon that we're gonna do, like right now. And that's it. So now at this point I'm gonna set up my keybinds. So I have 1 CV. So you notice right as I click magic menu, it's pretty much already at CV already. 2 is going to be the speed buffing spell with 4-5. 3 is going to be my levitate. 4 is mark. 5 I got to scroll down for my amulet of recall. 6 is going to be in the inventory, so scroll a little bit down to get to this potion, Fortify Willpower, and Restore Magicka. These are very important for what we're about to do. And last is your lockpick, so you're going to click this and drag all the way to the right and bind lockpick with 8. This is my setup that I prefer. You can probably change it if you'd like, but that's up to you. So at this point I'm going to next spell. Well, I should have already have it on Adrenaline Rush before I got here. So I only need to hit next spell 1 time and have my hands ready. So I'm gonna make my way upstairs. As I'm doing this, I'm gonna use all 5 Fortify Willpower potions, so that increases my cast chance quite a bit. Make this a little bit more consistent. Like, you don't need to, but it's just a matter of consistency. And at this point I like to save, quick save and quick load, because it generally prevents a crash that tends to happen when you use the next potions right here. So you're going to want to cast or use 2 Restore Magicka potions by using your keybind as you're making your way up here. So you use them first, so that when you cast it, your Magicka will already be replenished. So I use 2, and notice how it's already at 30 again, so I can immediately cast it again. And these last, I believe it's 5 seconds, 10 points for 5 seconds. So it allows you to get at least 2 casts off before you should use another 2. And we want to use the first one 3 times. So I've used it 3 times, so now I'm going to use my next spell keybind to get to 2, which is the intelligence one. I'm just going to keep spamming it as I make my way to the Silt Strider, and keep in mind that the way that this glitch works with the on-target thing to make spells permanent is that the bolt has to land on a surface. It only has 1 second to do that. So just make sure that the bolt that it fires hits the ground. So that's why I'm aiming at the ground. So now I want to get my intelligence up to 830. Now I can do my big buffing spell on myself. So I'm generally gonna keep spamming this until I reach the Silt Strider. So it's probably gonna be about 2 to 3 times. So at this point, I'm going to use my Mark keybind, and I'm gonna come up here on this spot. Doesn't particularly matter where, but just up on this perch, and point towards Caius's house and mark himself. So now I'm gonna need to do more speed buffing. So to get from Mark to 3, you can use the 45. So press 2 and then previous spell to get back to my speed buffing spell. So I'm gonna travel to Sadany because that is where our route takes us first. So as I come off here, I'm gonna take this rock. If I take it at the right angle, I'll preserve my speed. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to keep spamming and just come up here. Might as well go through that again. Come off the rock and go through this part next to this swamp and around this tree. Jump over this little rope. As I run off here, if I got it at the right angle, you can rest in midair. So since my magicka is kind of low, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Enter the tomb, and you're going to keep buffing yourself to about 2400 speed or whatever you're comfortable with. Actually, I guess in this case it'll be around 2200, 2275 to 2475, or more if you're willing to get the speed. But in that case, you would probably start to take 3 speed and 1 luck, so you don't have to cast it as many times, which is what I do. But for starting off, 2200 or 2400 is great, and you can increase it. Actually, you can probably even go with less. You can probably even go with 2000, because you'll have enough strength and luck for everything you need to do. So this is really the big benefit of this route, is where you can basically choose how much speed you want to get with more precision. For 1.0, you pretty much had to get 3k luck, and that entailed basically getting over 5000 speed every time. So that's a lot more, and it's a lot harder to control. Anyway, you can make your way through here just by walking or by sprinting if you're fast enough. At this point, I'm going to cast Levitate. Hopefully I don't get blocked. While I'm casting Levitate, I'm going to grab the skull and recall. So I'm just going to hold forward, get Mark ready, and get to Caius's house. So I'm going to start casting Mark, and you want to have a Mark pointed at Caius. As you enter, don't move at all. Just turn and point left, so that every time you recall, it's going to be facing him, so you can initiate dialogue. So we need to initiate dialogue with him. Report to Caius. Yes. Yes. And at this point, the orders button is going to be a little bit of awkward spot. So you can either come up here, or you can go over here. So orders, and then orders, continue, goodbye. See, it's a nice sideways motion to get to continue and then goodbye. So goodbye, and then do a quick 90 degrees left turn. As I come up here, I'm going to do pretty much another 90-degree left turn, go up over these mountains, and you'll get to the bridge. And if you played Morrowind, you know what this part is. I pretty much like to center myself at this point, and just kind of hold forward. So here you can come down, kind of do a 180 and get to the Cells of Hollow Hand. You can also do an out of bounds, which is what I've been tending to do. Let's see if I can get it again. If I can get inside again. Okay, so for out of bounds, this would be the first out of bounds in the run. As soon as you enter, there will be like a load, right? So while you're loading, you're going to be holding backwards and left or right. This will put you out of bounds. And it's easier to do these out of bounds with more speed, but not so much speed that it gets really hard. So that's another reason why I believe it's better to have this lower speed, is the out of bounds sections are much easier to handle, because if you tap a direction with 5,000 speed, you go so far away from your objective, so you really have to be much tighter with that. So I'm gonna just enter and try to get the out of bounds here. Okay, I didn't get it, so that's generally because if you entered somewhere you've already been, you're less likely to get out of bounds. So pretty much you just won't get an out of bounds. But what you can do is you can quick save. You can hold backwards and quick save. So in this case, it's pretty much a backwards and to the right. And as you can see, that's where I need to get to. So you can just kind of go straight ahead. It's a little bit easier in my opinion than going inbounds. And at this point, I'm gonna demonstrate another out of bounds. This time it's going to be to the left, so you can see this is the shelf I need to get to. So you can kind of ram into the shelf and see it. It's a nice way to get to the cube fast. Otherwise, you can just do it the normal way. Still generally be levitating here. It's pretty hard, so you probably have to use third person and inch your way up. So I think that's slower. So you want to grab the cube and recall however you want to do it. Immediately turn left, and you probably want to refresh your levitation every so often just to make sure you don't fall down. It's good because you won't run out of magicka, really. So anyway, you get to the Fighters Guild. Now you pretty much here you need to do an out of bounds. You're going to come all the way around, kind of towards the entrance, like where you would enter on the ground. To the behind the chest. So here I need to use third person pretty much every time to inch my way up this chest. So I'm going to grab these iron arrows and equip them by clicking on my portrait here. And no one can see me because I'm out of bounds. So now I'm just going to go through the stairs, talk to Wayne here. Now I have a long sword on me, sell it to him, but then make it a max sale. And since you have so much luck, he'll accept it. So now I get out of it, get back in first person, and go backwards and to the left and quick save. And this gets us out of bounds. So I shouldn't be running out of levitation, but I'm just going through it more slowly. So again, it's going to be like a backwards left and come all the way around to, you can see this this rug here. And we're going to do our training with this person. So, like I was saying earlier, you can click twice if you have your menu set up properly. So just press E and click twice on them. Hopefully they don't move around. If they ever move around, it's a little bit annoying, so you'll have to like, your cursor will be over here, and you'll have to basically do extra menuing.
I'd be happy to talk. My pleasure.
So you want to do that as fast as possible, and when you get to level 35, turn and talk to Hasfat, Favor, and Sixth House, and that's it. So have your recall handy and click again.
What was that?
Now at this point, we are going to level up. So when you click rest until, I guess you can use until healed in this case, because you might need more magicka, but you generally shouldn't have to, so rest is okay, like rest for 1 hour. As soon as you click either one of these, just start mashing spacebar, because otherwise it does this kind of dialogue shows up. But if you mash spacebar, it'll actually clear and it'll actually allow you to level up. So otherwise you'd have to rest again, so that's a waste of time. So I'm just gonna level up any 3 skills. These are closest to okay, so that's probably ideal. As soon as you hit okay, do it again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I'm gonna get my levitate ready, and start casting it as I'm talking to him. And for this one, just double click orders. So now we've handed in the cube, and we've already got the skull, so we just have to turn it into the Mage Guild. So I'm gonna go all the way across here, and this time I'm gonna go up here to the right. This time I do an out of bounds to the left. Swing around like this, and then come all the way down here
Speak.
to this orc in the corner. Be careful not to take anything here, because that'll basically end the run. Because they'll start to want to fight you, and then you can't like talk to them. So that's basically run ender if you do that. So double click errand, and then click Morrowind Cult, and recall. Now again, double click orders just like last time, and this will get you on the Vivek quest. So now we have to make our way to the Silt Strider, so I'm just going to do diagonal flying here, because diagonal flying is faster than straight flying, like just like running. So you can kind of use the this part of the stand here to kind of ram into and
just for you. Same low price.
Talk to him quickly. So if you do it like, if you're doing it like this or something, it's a little bit more awkward. You want to be able to just kind of go like that. So go to Vivek, and we're alright. So now that we're at Vivek, gonna cast Levitate immediately and go up to the second tier here, and then get your speed buffing spell ready. You can do an out of bounds of backwards and left, and get to this door here, Black Shop Corner Club. Immediately get in third person and start casting this spell off the ground. Since it's such a large range, it'll always hit its target. So now all the NPCs that got affected by the area of effect will have this speed bonus. So talk to him, either option for the Argonian and then Filthy Lizard to this guy. Travel together, and then and then use, I like to use this goodbye rather than this goodbye because it's closer. So I'm going to cast it again and make my way here. Now move forward. At this point I'm going to press 1 and then next spell to get to Bound Longbow. So I'm CV and then next spell gets me on Bound Longbow. So get here as fast as possible so that Julia is with you as well. So once you enter the bookstore, Joe Basha's rare books, you just have to talk to him about Morrowind Cult and cast CV. So here I'm going to point so that my cursor is going north and just hold forwards. I should have levitate at this point. So get your bow ready and ready an arrow. Get to the wasteworks here. So out of bounds, just go backwards and up a little bit so you can see this guy. He might be walking around, so land a shot on him. I usually refresh levitate here and then get to the canal works. And don't enter this place too fast, because the game basically has to register him as being dead, so their NPCs are registered as dead when they pretty much stop moving, like when their body is out of the death animation. Anyway, so go down to the right and enter the underworks here. So go straight across. You can start casting CV preemptively here, so just bring up dialogue with her and press 6 House Cult, and goodbye. So in here I'm going to go down to the right, use a little third person if necessary, and then go up into the left here, or right, doesn't really matter. So talk to Mara to get her going. So we're going to do a trick here, where we need to steal a book, The Progress of Truth. So we're going to wedge yourself in the ceiling to get out of all NPCs' line of sight, so when we're in the ceiling they don't realize that we're actually there and we can steal stuff. So the book we need is right there. I believe, otherwise she won't want to give you her notes. So just talk to her first. I'm going to go over this bookshelf. I usually get in third person to line myself up here, and then I get in first person, point straight down, and then go backwards a bunch. You can do a quick save here. My levitate wore off, but we'll recreate the situation. So just to be safe, you can quick save, and then you'll know you did it right because no one got mad at you. So go over to her. She doesn't have to be all the way at the end of this room, so if you did it quickly enough, she'll be walking here in this hallway.
It is such an honor
But
to meet you.
as soon as you grab the book, just go over to her wherever she is and go Morrowind Cult, and that's it. So recall, talk to Caius again, orders, then you have to exit, and then orders again, and turn left. We're gonna go to the Silt Strider, get levitate ready. Go to Alderun and keep clicking so you can cast levitate as soon as possible. Do a jump over to get over towards this area. Here I do an out of bounds, backwards and to the left, and then into here to talk to this guy. Or you could just go inbounds. Like most people just go inbounds, but I like to go out of bounds. It's easier for me. Business, top option, what are the gift giving customs? Thoughtful gift, Ashlanders, and then recall. So you should always have like recall out in these situations ready to go, so you can just double click. Anyway, go back to Caius. Orders, continue, so 3 continues. The last 2 are double click, so just click, and then goodbye. Same motion to Alderun and levitate ready. This time we're going to turn again to the Silt Strider, is going to be on the left, and go to cool. So we're going to start moving forward and cast levitate. Just hold forward, and at this point we need to go all the way from here to around over here where this outline is. This little thing sticking out in this outline here. So I'm gonna use diagonal movement to get there a little bit faster. And I'm usually turn forwards at this point. See where we need to get about here. You can see this kind of flat area has a certain texture to it. So you can kind of recognize that because it's just suddenly a big flat space, and then this cave here. So you're gonna arrive like this. Gonna cast Mark and immediately get inside as fast as possible. So this is gonna be a bunch of out of bounds now. So the first one backwards and left or right, doesn't really matter. As I'm doing this, I'm going to do 1 and then next spell to get bound spear ready. So first door is here. Another out of bounds. This I came out of here, and now I need to go all the way over there. So from here to over here on the left. Another out of bounds. Go upwards. You're going to want to go backwards and left or right, and then upwards to this door. Basically the highest door, because that is not a door over there. That is where our wizard staff is, but we don't need that here. So we're just going to get inside here. It's a little bit tricky, but you can do it. So this one is going to be backwards to the right because you need to go all the way over here. Just poke the ghost once, get your recall ready. Left click, right click the bow, and sometimes your selection will be reset for your spell, so you just got to press it again. So just click recall. So notice how your cursor is pointing in this situation. It could be like here or wherever, but as a visual cue, you want to just, so you can like turn to your next destination as fast as possible, you have to go up and a little bit to the left here, and you'll pass this rock, and then you can see these huts. So here we need to get into that hut right there. So it's going to kind of swoop down and like zoom into it as fast as you can. Talk to Zabamund. Nerving Prophecies. I just choose the bottom option. I think you can choose the one above it, but that one's easier for me. I'm gonna head over to the next one over it, to Ashkan's. I start casting Mark, and then so it fires off. I want to be pointing at him as well, so when I recall, I'll be facing him. So this guy just Nerving Prophecies, Initiation Rite twice, and goodbye. So now you have to go across here. It's a little awkward, but hopefully if your levitation expires, it's a little bit easier, but just try to get it across as fast as possible. Now at this point, if your levitation wore off, you can wait. You don't need to use bedroll, but you can if you'd like, but just wait so that at 6 or 7 a.m. or p.m. If you still have levitate, you can use bedroll, so it makes no difference. So let's see if it's, I should point out that clicking here increases it by 2 hours, so sometimes that's the best way, rather than like doing this or something. You click anywhere, you can click here, or even here. That's just the best way if you can do that. So you should be able to do it in every case, so you're just going to need to do some math. So I believe it's going to be, 9 hours. That should make it 7. Oh, I failed. So actually it was 11 hours that I needed to wait. I usually don't have that time, but since I'm doing it in a certain way, I guess it's different. But actually it's pretty much consistent the way I do it. It'll always be like 3 a.m. I believe for how I do my exact methods. So I usually just click here and then rest. But 6 a.m. or 6 to 7 a.m. or p.m. is what we need. You can do that afterwards or before talking to this person. So you just need to go Nerving Prophecies, and then it should be pass the test. It looked a little bit different there, I'm not sure why, but anyway, Nerving Prophecies, and then it should be a continue and then pass the test. So you're going to want to exit this place and start getting Levitate ready. So we need to go from here now all the way over here. So I'm just going to try to take a diagonal path in the air. I'm going to get Bound Longbow ready while I'm making my way here. So we're about here. We go from here all the way kind of down southeast a little bit. And you'll see if you get to this point, there's a big peak, the biggest peak. So I usually like go in between here and swoop down to this door. Just hold forwards, just hold W right here, and then look down, take the star and press escape, do a 180 and get out of here. So now at this point we need to go up and northeast, I guess. So it's kind of over between these mountains. This is something you need to practice, like going from this spot over here. I guess all I can say is it's pretty much northeast. Sometimes you'll go over two north or 2 east, so you just gotta really practice that. So get your bow ready. Like it shouldn't have expired, but since I was explaining that, the timer ran out. But you should still have the bow and levitation. So enter this place with your arrow ready. So do an out of bounds, and you're just gonna want to kill that guy and get out of here. So turn diagonally so you're facing south, or turn 90 degrees so you're facing south, and then go diagonally in the air to get to the Zainab camp. So you're just going to get to the Ashkan's yurt. As soon as you enter, you should just be able to initiate dialogue with him without having to move. Talk to him, Nerevarine. Yeah, Nerevarine, not Nerevarine Prophecies. Tell your story, ask him to set you a task, and then Calvario, Nerevarine, continue, goodbye. At this point, we're going to go from here, so I just start holding forwards immediately as I'm entering, as I'm exiting, to get to this dark circle here, and have my bow ready as well, and with an arrow lined up. So get to this place, Talvos, Arian's Chambers, do out of bounds to the left and around, and land your shot. Don't fall without levitate here. If you fall without levitate, you could get soft locked. There's really no excuse to fall because you have levitate at your disposal and enough magicka so you don't run out. Anyway, land your shot and don't exit too quickly, like I said, or the game will not recognize that he has actually died. Looks like my bow ran out because, again, I'm going really slowly, so I usually would not need to keep recasting. But anyway, you're going to go from Arian's Chambers, from here. Now you need to go all the way to this island here, basically directly east. So you see this tower. Get another arrow ready, and kill this person on the left. when their body stops, you can turn around and start going. So you're gonna start heading towards this tip of the island here. You can get your speed buffing spell ready. I'm gonna enter this here. Gonna kind of swoop down, get to the door as fast as possible. I'm gonna kind of want to nudge over to him, just like tap forwards and left a little bit. So I have to scroll down and click Nerevarine. Otherwise, it won't be here on this first set of options. I have to scroll down a little bit, so it's pretty fast to do, as you can scroll anywhere and it'll scroll. So just go over to the Wise Woman's Yurt. At this point, I'm getting in third person. Cast a spell one time. That's pretty important. You don't want to cast it more than once right here, just one time. Nerevarine. I want the Amusa to name me Nerevarine. Save place, and then you're gonna go over here, double click this, accompany you, and then yes and goodbye, and just get out of here immediately. So right here, I'm going to select my bound spear. So I do that 1VV, cast it, and it'll automatically equip the spear. So kill this mud crab. Now at this point, I need to get water walking on me, so I'm gonna do a 4 for mark, and then VV for water walking. Immediately cast that. So she's been buffed one time. Each spell gives 200. Actually, it doesn't look like she got it. Sometimes that happens. It looks like I kind of ran out of magicka, but anyway. I do a little resting there. You shouldn't really have to, though, because I think I had to keep just casting stuff over and over, so I ran out. So you're going to want to kind of move backwards across this water and buffer 5 times. So I think that was 3 or 5. And then we're going to kind of want to move across this water. You want to get around to the left side of the island, so that's where she can kind of like reach. At this point right here. So at this point I get into third person and just make my way up these stairs, and if she's behind you, just go ahead and enter. So here, you're going to kind of want to move carefully along here. For the escort quests, don't do strafe running, just do... You can only hold W, basically. If you want to turn, stop moving, and then turn. For like a half, split second. Stop moving, and then turn a little bit, like this. That's the best way that they'll follow you. So you don't want to just get across here and then go into the center. Ideally, you'll get out of first person, or third person, and have recall ready. So just hit name you Nerevarine and goodbye. Here, now we're back at the Urshaleku camp, so we're just going to cast CV while we're talking to him. Council, continue, Urshaleku Nerevarine, need, and then I go over here and click duty, or you can just do it in here, and then Urshaleku Nerevarine. So now we're going to be at Nissus, so I'm going to turn left and move forwards as fast as possible, get levitation ready, talk to the Silt Strider, and go to Alderun. So I'm gonna mash for levitate and get my mark ready this time and go to the Manor District. So go forwards. You want to mark around here, but hopefully you can set up fast. So I should explain this area. So you can think of so you can see it a little bit better. This area is basically a big circle. It's kind of like a weird flower or so. At the very center, from where you enter, is these triple doors. And then there's 3 places on the left and 3 on the right. So the first thing to do is mark at the center, fly over, and go to all the way to the right. So it'll be like this. something like that. Probably wasn't that good. Let's get in here. Get your lockpick ready. Go to the right door, to the right wing. Go swoop down here. I get to third person because it, for whatever reason, doesn't let you see the door when you're in first person. So I just get into third person because we're going to do an escort quest anyway. So I have my lockpick ready and just unlock it. Talk to this guy, travel together, follow me, goodbye. Start casting your speed walking spell one time and then another time. When he's pretty close, like up the stairs, you can move on and he'll follow suit. Just like that. So we're gonna make our way across here. So we're getting out of the outer ring to the center. Kind of go around. Hopefully he doesn't get stuck. So go around. From here you go around to this part, and to this little part again, and then we want to get to the second one from the left, so, or from the center I mean. So that's one, and that's 2 from the center. And that's the Sarethi Manor. So just go forwards. As soon as he says thank you, you can speak to this guy, Athen, about Veteran Hortitor. So that's all you need to do. You should have Levitate ready to go, so just fly out the way you came in. So now we need to get to the leftmost door. So you're coming from the second leftmost door, and you're going to go to the furthest leftmost door. And get recall ready. This one is just a straight shot, like that. And this guy here in the Dwemer armor, Byron Ramaran.
I can tell.
Veteran Hortitor, goodbye. See, now we're gonna be, we're pointing the triple door, so that's the most convenient setup. So it's gonna go like this door, and then that door. Now we're gonna go to the first door next to the triple doors, Lethri. This one is gonna be straight and down, and then here to the private quarters. We need to talk to this person here. It's going to be pretty much in this position every time. Carissa. Same dialogue. Right under the door. Now go forwards to the triple doors. Here I like doing out of bounds. To get myself lined up with this door here. Or you can just go inbounds. But I find it easier to do the out of bounds. So anyway, if you're doing inbounds, it looks like this. From here, you're going to want to go down and underneath this structure to the Moravian quarters. And you're going to want to try to avoid as much any third-person movement as much as possible. So same dialogue option. This time it's to the right of the triple doors. The first door to Arabar Manor. This one is straight ahead, and then straight ahead again, pretty much right in front of your face, and then 90-degree turn to the right. I do out of bounds here, because otherwise you have to go through that door. You have to wait for that door to open, and it's awkward.
What an
but you need to talk to this person with the, I guess, bone mold shoulders.
How may I be of service?
Actually, not sure what this person has.
no escape.
Yeah, bone mold. Like the special bone mold.
Welcome.
Yeah, so Redder and Hortitor are like the other guys. Recall. And this time we're gonna go back to where we were first, the rightmost door. But instead of going to the right, over there, we're gonna go straight. And then across and to the left, this guy in the ebony armor. And start casting Almsivi. Talk to him, Redder and Hortitor. He actually doesn't give you support, so you're gonna have to duel him. And then we're gonna want to face left on the map. So that's where the Silt Strider is. And go to Balmoro. Have Levitate ready again, so jump and just cast Levitate and mark as well. We're gonna mark at Caius again. Again, you want to face him, Orders, ready for anything, continue, goodbye. And here we're just going to go to the 6th house base. So the best way is just basically by flying there. So that's going to be like from here to, okay, I believe around here. So you're just going to want to move diagonally. And get your bow ready as well. And yeah, it's pretty much this upmost island here. So go to Illinubi. This one is an out of bounds to the right, and then move forwards this door. This one's to the left. This one's a little bit tricky, but it's to the left. Let me do it again. To the left, and it's kind of like over here. So you're going like sideways from here to here. This one's out of bounds. From here, kind of got to go backwards a bit and to the right to this door. So from here to here. And Soul's Rattle. And another out of bounds. Have your bow ready. Don't get too close, otherwise you'll get a dialogue option. So you want to kill this guy here. And just mash spacebar and have your recall ready. So after the dialogue appears and you press spacebar and use recall. This one is orders, continue, continue. We're going to head to the Silt Strider again. Have Mark ready and go to Vivek. So when you arrive here, sometimes your hands will be put away, so you'll just have to press like 4 again or whatever keybind you use. You're going to face him and mark. As soon as it fires off, you can travel to Malag Mar. Just hold forwards. Get your levitate ready, because we're going to go from here to here. Kind of in this, you can see it on this map how it looks. So just move diagonally. I'm going to get my bound spear ready, so 1 and then next spell twice. And we're here at the Arabenimson camp, so we're going to kill all these guys here.
There is no escape.
So do a fast attack on them. This guy, you need his robe. So once you have his robe, exit. Go to the next one over to Ashru Ahi. This one you don't need anything. Then the next one over, the Ashkans, kill both of them as fast as possible. I'm gonna loot the Heart of Fire Amulet and the War Axe, and just exit as fast as possible. Here I pretty much stay in third person. Go to the Wise Woman's Yurt, Remembering Prophecies, continue. If it's not there, you'll have to scroll down or use it on the list of dialogue options. Sometimes it's not there in the actual dialogue text. So go to Hanamu's Yurt, who's next to the Ashkans. And you need to talk to this guy on the left, Hanamu. Remembering Prophecies, want to be Ashkan, give him the robe, and then at this point I have to scroll down so this appears. Want to be Ashkan, give him, do it again. So you give him all 3 items and then name you Nerverine. So I get my levitate ready and exit. So from here we're going to go from this place to this island, so it's not too far away, so just going to use diagonal movement again. So you see this big structure here, but the only place you can enter is by the boat here, kind of on the north-ish side of the island. So this little door. I'm going to do an out of bounds to get from here to up here. You can go inbounds, but out of bounds is definitely superior if you're good at it. Another out of bounds here. This one's to the left and back to get to Diviath here. Or you can just go inbounds. I can show you that right after this. Offer the gift, Corpus Disease. No, nothing. Continue. So here I just move forward. Once I've talked to him, doing my normal strat, I'll get into third person here because it's kind of tricky to get in here first person. and then right here is where you entered from. So you could just enter and then just go up here and then do a 90 degrees left turn. So up and 90 degrees. Just go to them like that.
3 blessings to you, Rengar.
You need to get all the way to the basement, so an out of bounds is preferred. So I'm going to try to avoid using third person and just kind of ram myself in here. Otherwise, you'd have to go through it like this. Go all the way down, 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 just keep going right, and then you see this part here, with this door on the left, you gotta go to the right here. Open the gate. At this point, I get my down longbow ready again. Go all the way over here. Talk to Yagram. Now at this point I go into the wall and quick save, and it gets me voided out, which brings me at the very beginning. So I'm just gonna go straight across. I go out of bounds with the quick save, and get here again where I had visited previously. You'll need to do another quick save because it won't put you out of bounds since you've already been here, just like I just did before. Have your hands ready before you talk to him. Potion, just give me the potion, continue, continue. And here, I'll generally select Divine Intervention from the menu. In this case, if you can't scroll down, because it happens to me at this point for a reason, pretty much every time, you have to click this and then scroll down. It'll let you scroll down from there. So click Divine Intervention and use it. Get your bow ready. So now we're at Sadrith Mora. So we're just gonna head north. I lost my levitation. Get to the center of the island, to the upper tower. So just move forward. There's a guy here. You can kind of use him as a place to stop, and kind of shoot him in the leg. And that's all you're doing here. So go north again, northwest-ish, to this this big structure, the Telvanni Council. We do out of bounds to the left and down here to this guy, Galar Rothan. So now we need these 2 scrolls to do a trick. We need at least 1 copy of Lesser Domination. So if you're not comfortable, you should grab 2. Anyway, I'm going to quick save again, go out the same way I came in. And now we need to get to this island. Should have Bound Longbow still active. If I'm going full speed, I'll have Bound Longbow still active. Get to the Tel Arun Upper Tower. You're going to want to kill this guy from out of bounds with levitation. But since I was going so slowly, it ran out. Just try to re-enter this area and get out as fast as possible, without being too fast, otherwise the game will not recognize that he's dead. So I need my lockpick. Gonna open this door, get in third person, and get my speed buffing spell, use it twice. Try not to hit anyone because they'll get mad at you, so just hit the ground. Make sure you hit the ground. At this point, we're going to use Lesser Domination to skip the escort of this NPC for the Zainab Bride. So use it on her and then immediately enter. So here you'll enter this tunnel. It's kind of terrible because of these bumps, but if you enter and, if you walk over to the left a little bit here, you can walk over it. And hopefully she follows. Like, she can get stuck there pretty easily. So you're just going to want to go around the corners. And here you're going to want to kind of move up and back, like move away from her. If it didn't work, it's because she needs to be under the effects of the Lesser Domination. So once she's reached the end and you kind of move away from her enough, she'll bring up the option that's basically saying that you've completed, not the option, but it'll give you the general update saying that you've completed the escort. So I'm going to cast Levitation now, and we need to go all the way to the Zaynab camp, so we're just going to fly diagonally there, and as straight of a line as possible. So you can see in the distance, so getting inside the yurt is a little tricky, but hopefully you do it as fast as you can. Just talk to him, tell Bunny Bride, and that's it. So recall.
Why walk?
Now at this point, we need to get Caius' final order, so go back to Balmora, but don't do any marks, just levitate and get recall ready. Back to Caius, turn to him and orders recall. And at this point, I have to go from here to around here to the Dren plantation, and I need a longbow. So it's like north and slightly west, barely west. Do an out of bounds. Land a shot on him. And then next spell to get your spear up, we need to go from here to up here. See, there's this little water channel, so it's going to be above that. Yeah, like on the very edge, but above this water line here to the Ool's Manor. So I like to go out of bounds and get up to her as fast as possible. If you're in the ceiling, then people usually won't realize that you're there like that. We'll see who's there, because for whatever reason your head is in the ceiling, so you're not in their line of sight. Anyway, when you get to her, talk to her about Hlalu Vortitor and recall.
We make a special trip.
So at this point I'll refresh my levitation and get my spear out. So we're gonna go from the Strider past the foreign quarter right here, and then the first one on the left is the arena. So go into the arena pit, fly down and poke him once. At this point I scroll up and it lands me on the Bonebiter bow. You could just use a bound longbow, I guess, but that's like more inputs. So I just go down south across to St. Olms, turn right into Yingling Manor, do an out of bounds. So when you do the out of bounds, you're kind of in a weird spot. You're like going away from him. So I pretty much, I'll like hold back and then hold forward a certain amount. Just land the shot on him, and as soon as you get the journal update, you should leave. Here you go across from there to here to the Haunted Manor. So go out of bounds, and then you're gonna want to look at this door. Like normally you would use a lockpick to get access to the basement, but it's actually connected. These cells are connected, so you don't even need to use the door and use your lockpick on it. So if you get out of bounds and line yourself up here, you can see in the distance, here's the basement. So it's all about lining up and just getting to this guy as fast as possible. And start using your CV on as you talk to him. Hlalu Vortitor, ask how Vortitor is chosen, or whatever the bottom option is. So you end up here at the CV spot and go towards this island here, kind of in the center, to the Omani Manor. Go out of bounds, go to the upper, you want to go to the uppermost spot, just like the other place you recently visited, and Hlalu Vortitor. And that's it, CV again. So now you have to break Marlow free. So go up to the Ministry of Truth. Hopefully you get the lock first try. Go out of bounds. You want to get to this door. There'll be this text box here, so just click buy and get to the right one here.
Welcome, friend.
Here you're going to talk to her
I've
to line
heard talk
Corruption
about?
Scrolls, but we're actually not going to use one. We're just going to use CV and fly to Ebonheart. So hopefully you shouldn't ever have to lose your levitation. You should always have it active. So from here, it's pretty much just a straight shot to this island. You can tell there's this little island sticking out on the bottom left here is kind of where you want to aim. So you gotta talk to this person on the dock. No, you go fishing, yes.
Shall we?
And then travel. And now we need it, so that's 6 or 7 a.m. p.m. again. So this case, 5 hours makes it 7. It looks like I got interrupted, but it's okay. Like that usually happens. You'll get interrupted, but it'll be at 6. I've never really seen it happen so that you get interrupted and it's earlier. So you can get interrupted and then you can just go there anyway, or it'll just do the full amount and you'll just go here. So out of bounds to the right, that's where you enter. So to the right, talk to this guy. Have your recall ready. Lost prophecies, continue. Now at this point, since we killed the Redoran leader, we're gonna turn in the Hortator. We're gonna actually get named Hortator from the first guy we talked to in the council manor. So just go from Vivek to Balmora and then to Aldrune. And this one is, again, it's 2 doors from the triple doors to the left. So not that one, not the first door, but this one, the second door. Get recall ready. Talk to the same guy you talked to earlier. Redder and Hortator, continue and recall. Now at this point we need to go. You're gonna be facing here. You need to talk. You need to kind of turn right and go this way towards the boat. Get levitation ready.
Where can I take?
Go to Telpernora. Keep clicking. You'll be facing this way, so turn left and then go towards the tower here. Levitate. Out of bounds. This is where you enter, so you're pretty much going right above where you entered. Another out of bounds is preferred. You can enter in like this ring, like that. That's one way to do it. So talk to Thorana, tell Vani Hortator, tell your story, and now you're gonna have to exit dialogue and then bring it up again. You gave all the counselors a Hormador? No. That thing you showed me then? I'm glad, dear, really. So that means you did it, even though it makes no sense.
Where would you like to go?
So now you gotta turn like a pretty much a straight 180 from a 180 turn this way to next to the foreign order is the Hualu Canton. So we're gonna get our Hualu Hortator. So go in here and go to the left. I do an out of bounds again. Otherwise, you'd have to go through. Like you'd have to go through here. Talk to Crassius.
A pleasure to meet you.
Hualu Hortator. Tell your story. Continue and alright. And Housekeeping. So now we've got all the Hortator and Nerevarine status.
How wonderful! Welcome, Outlander.
Talk to this person right after you CV, meet the Archcanon, and into the left area here. So out of bounds, get CV ready because we want to get out of here without having to go through this door or do anything else. So Thulder Sarioni, Temple's Doctrine, continuing, yes. At this point, just run straight up to the doors. Move forward and talk to Vivek with about his business. Continue, yes, yes. Continue and defeat Dagoth Ur. Defeat Dagoth Ur maps these spots on your map. It marks these spots on your map, so it's nice. It's not really necessary, but it's nice to have these map markers because otherwise you're gonna have to go from Aldrune to here and then here without any map markers. So now you have Wraithguard.
Where would you like to go?
Recall. We're not going to use Wraithguard because we have enough. We have buffed health, so we don't need it. So go to Balmora and go to Aldrune with Levitate ready. And we're just going to want to go kind of straight towards Dagoth Ur to set up a mark. So there's this tower here. I like to set up a mark at, and then I go down all the way here to Odroso. Do an out of bounds, back into the right, get to the vault door. Here it's kind of tricky to grab Keening without using third person. You really have to be careful. Not careful, but you could, you know, you lose time with awkward movement. So grab Keening and recall. Always have levitate. So you pretty much need to recast it at points. I'm gonna head straight towards Vaminol. Get your bounce here ready, so 1 and next spell twice again. Out of bounds to this area here. At this point, I like to go out of bounds. I like to go upwards and then to the left, and then straight down at him from the top. There's other ways to do it, but that's my preferred way. So one-shot him and then take all of his stuff and recall. So now we're gonna fly down to the entrance. So you can do two things. You can use the crank here and then go in normally, or you could do the skip. You can show it off when these doors reset. So I'll fly down here. I'll go for the skip, the clip or skip. You just kind of go into this left corner and hold forwards a bit, and you can see the door. So more out of bounds. This one's to the right. Hold forwards. You can do the any % strat here, where you just go straight out of bounds. Get your Sunder ready. Go down here.
I'm a god.
One swing.
How can you kill a god?
4, 5.
What a grand and
then go straight.
intoxicating innocence. How could you be so naive? There is no escape. No recall or intervention
So,
can work in this place. Come,
yeah, you go
lay
straight
down
out
your
like that,
welcome,
and
moon
then
and star. It is not too late for my mercy, where destiny
then,
is made.
Trigger the end.
You no longer bear the burden.
The other option is to set up a mark here, and then do a quick save out of bounds, and then go in here, do your thing, you know, Sunder 1 time, Keening 5 times, and then when you get here, you'll get a journal update, so you can just hit recall, and you'll be in front of Azura. That's a little bit easier than doing the other any % method. So that's it. That's the run. So if you have any questions, you can leave a comment. If you're trying to figure out how to get the load remover working, and you can't figure it out from my text-based guide, I can make a video on that as well. Yeah, that's it. So thank you for watching, and good luck with learning.